Here we are at our first iteration of Ask the Man Who Owns One. And it's only fitting. We started off with a beautiful pre-war Packard.
And we have the man, the legend, the one and only Bob Noiseux. You guys see the
Who just
similarities?
so happens, full disclosure, to be my father. And
Allegedly.
he is the reason to blame for me doing all of this crap because he's the one who introduced me to old cars and actually Jaguars too.
Yeah.
Because he loved the one that showed up at his house for a very brief stint in my childhood. Although it was brief, it left an impact.
Especially on your sister.
Quite literally. But anyhow, so this kind of series we're doing, we're kind of focusing on the ownership perspective of what it's like to own and maintain some of these classic cars. Full disclosure, again, he just bought it. This is the second day he's seen it, so there's kind of that. But I actually have driven another and done quite a bit of work on another 640 Packard. It's a touring car, but same year. Almost the same color too, but not this car. So anyhow, why this car?
Why this specifically? Did you have some kind of a fixation with it, or
No.
no?
I bought this car completely on a lark. I had been following the auction that this car was at. But when I looked at this car, it struck me as being something that was going to be totally unobtainable. And of course, I think it's fair to say we all know what's happened with the prices and the markets for pre-war cars over the last 20 years anyway.
Working out to our advantage.
100%.
Meaning for the
There you go.
it's going down, or it's kind
So
of
for people who want to buy these things, it's a great time to buy them.
Okay.
And as time goes on, to be honest, it's only going to get better.
Yep.
We are what, September 2025, just for reference.
Yeah. So in this car, I had seen it in the auction flyer. Never imagined that it would be something that I could ever make a play for. And
I believe you said that about a certain Rolls-Royce Phantom 1 at the same auction.
a year ago, yeah, 100%. So I hadn't even seriously considered this car.
Hence
But
why I didn't even go look at it.
That's right.
Because we weren't planning
Like,
on.
this is just unobtainable.
I didn't want to waste your time going to look at this one. So in any case, I was following the auction online, and this car came up. And it's a beautiful car, absolutely beautiful. And for me personally, I've never owned a car with a rumble seat. And I have a bunch of closed cars, but the idea of a pre-war, some kind of a pre-war convertible open car is something I was actually looking for in buying a car this year. And then this one came up. And to be honest, I was kind of shocked at how the lack of interest that there was. And the thing about auctions, right, it's always about who goes.
Yeah.
That's how auctions go.
We did get kind of lucky in the fact that it sold the first day, which
It was the first day, which was a terrible day.
yeah,
From the seller's perspective. It was a terrible. It's like the worst on a Thursday.
Yeah.
With that particular so it's a 3-day auction, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and typically something like this should normally have been in with the Saturday lots, and of course it would have done.
So
It would have done
weekends are
much
usually
better.
Like Saturday, it's
well,
usually better with
Friday evening is when the big guns, typically with auctions on a weekend auction, typically Friday, Saturday, those are
your best days.
Friday nights.
Yeah, Thursday, everybody's just getting there, or they just got there on Wednesday, just jet lag.
People are working on Thursdays.
or that too.
People are working on Thursdays.
Yeah.
And so in any case, I actually was at work myself, and I had the auction kind of going and playing in my office, sort of in the background. And then this one came along, and I happened to be in my office, and so I wound up bidding online for it. And then, to my surprise,
You're the highest bidder.
I was the high bidder. So here it is. I now own it.
So this was Connecticut, kind of New York area, and now we.
So I live in Connecticut,
Yeah.
and the auction was in
This is
Indiana.
Auburn. Okay,
Yeah.
so Indiana. Okay, so we're in Indiana. He's in Connecticut. And we just
Yep.
everybody's kind of on the phone. We're watching the stuff, right? And then boom, now we have it.
And here we are. I actually was really surprised, but for the price of a really, really nice Model A, I wound up with a beautiful 8-cylinder Packard.
1929. So yeah, what are the kind of the specs of this car? What engines in it? What you got going?
So it's the 374, the straight 8. I mean, it's 9 main bearings. I mean, this had to be an incredibly expensive, elaborate engine to build for the time, but it's a lot of power. And in view of what I do, so I have a barn full of antique cars, and what I like to do with them is periodically. I mean, of course, this Club Funk, this thing, does all of those sorts of things. I like to drive them to work sometimes, and it's a nice day. I just get up in the morning and go out to the barn and say, "Yeah, I'll take this one today," and I get to do that. And this is one I live about 20 miles from where I work, so this one is a great candidate because I could take this one on the highway. I could do 60 miles an hour.
Okay.
And so it could keep up with modern traffic.
Alleged top speed 90 miles an hour, allegedly.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that, but
no, these are good 50 to 60 mile an hour cars.
Basically, I could take it on the highway and do it. I think comfortably do 60 with it, and which will be fine to drive to work.
These, when they're tuned right, they run like silent sewing machines. The 640 that I worked on prior to this, I'm pretty sure I sent him a video some years ago, and you can put the nickel on the cylinder head while it's running. It doesn't fall over. It's magic, but very smooth engines because of all the main bearings. And just the way that it's a straight 8, they're typically smoother than the V's.
So what would you call that? A road? It's like a 2-seater with a rumble seat. Is that a Roadster?
It's called a convertible coupe. So unlike the Roadsters, which have the raked windshield and then would have side curtains, this one actually has roll-up windows.
A true Roadster is open in every sense with the exception of the folding top. Okay. So convertible coupe has windows, door locks. So if you want to drive one that you can actually use a lot, if you get caught in the rain, it's not the end of the world. Nobody wants to get caught in the rain in one of these, but if you do get caught in the rain.
Now, I live in New England.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can be December. It can be 35, 40 degrees when I leave my house. And I could actually drive something like this comfortably on a day like that.
The windows get the heat going?
Well, it doesn't have heat.
It certainly doesn't.
Most of these early cars don't have heat.
It's certainly not a
The heat comes from the firewall.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you have a Franklin, in which case, they're just so hot immediately. But
that's another subject for another video. But in any case, the thought is I could drive this to work once in a while, and then club functions. I mean, it's a Packard. There's not a lot of them out there. This is not the Model A or the Chevy of the antique car world.
Will it run on unleaded, on regular, or do you have to put some additive or anything?
So I've always run my old cars. Basically, I just run them on regular pump gas, and sometimes maybe I'll put some lead additive if I have some kicking around. But the reality is a lot of these early engines, if they were low compression, they don't really need leaded gas anyway. Leaded gas really didn't become a thing until the late 20s. Gas didn't have lead.
Yeah.
So this one had a 5-to-1 compression ratio. I think it's kind of on the fence as to whether lead would be advantageous for it or not. And now, having bought it at an auction, knowing very little of the previous history, I have no idea if this one had hardened valves put in when the restoration work on it was done. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. So it was, obviously it was restored at some point.
To me, this looks like a 1970s restoration when you see things like the orange chassis, the brown coloration. These were popular 1970s colors.
Indeed. Okay. What's the wheelbase on it?
Well, let's put it like this. The wheelbase is long enough. So most cars, when you look at a turning radius, is measured in inches. A car like this, it tends to be measured in acres.
I was going to say, in yards.
So what do you know about it?
Any history?
I know no history. I know very little about it, other than it showed up at the Auburn auction, and that's it.
So if somebody bought this, some kid in the neighborhood for some reason, let's just say, would you need any kind of specialty tools for that kind of early of a car, or it would help to have a lift or a garage, or obviously,
Both of those things would be helpful. Now, if a kid in the neighborhood bought it, he would probably have all metric tools. So forget all this metric stuff. You have to have standard tools, and there's a reason that they're called standard, because this is normal, not this metric stuff. But that would be the thing. So you need standard U.S. tools, this is really, in many ways, it's a very basic car. It's very simple when you look. Everything is intuitive. It's laid out very well. If you actually needed to work on it,
could you find either manuals or is it
manuals are available.
Yeah.
Manuals are available. Basic parts like the things you would need to maintain it are available.
Okay.
So I'm thinking spark plugs, I'm thinking wires, I'm thinking hoses, belts. Those are like the basic maintenance items.
The good thing is it's a Packard, and Packards are one of those cars that certainly encroach into the territory of you don't scrap a Packard. So a lot of these survived simply because you don't scrap a Packard. It's almost like scrapping a Rolls Royce or a Duesenberg.
So this is 29, so it's pre the Great Depression, so everybody kind of,
Well, actually, a lot of these were scrapped during the war.
These bastards.
Yes, so there were some scraps.
By the time the war came along, something like this was actually it was old technology, it was obsolete in many ways. And so when the war came along, although a Packard was special, a lot of them actually were victims of the scrap drives. That's true.
Yeah, they also offered a lot of smaller cars that were probably destined for the scrapyard. The bigger cars survived at higher rates.
Well, that's true. And during the war, when there was the scrap drives going on, gasoline was rationed. So a car like this, I haven't driven it enough to know what the mileage would be, but I would think in the 8 to 10 mile per gallon range.
Sure.
With a 374 cubic inch straight 8, no overdrive. What I would expect in that 8 to 10 range. So during the war, this was not the car that you wanted to drive.
Yeah. So you either maybe scrap it or kind of hide it away or put it in somebody's collection and just kind of keep it,
Sure. And you say put it away in somebody's collection. People weren't really collecting cars during the war.
Really?
This was just an old car.
Yeah, car collecting really didn't become a thing until
really the 50s.
Late 40s. People were starting to save some special cars, but for the most part, the 50s was the start of that. You had George Waterman, who was actually responsible for saving the Marmon Wasp in the National 1912 Indy 500 winner. He was like probably one of the big godfathers of car collecting. The hair collection, obviously. Car collecting really wasn't a thing till the 50s.
And also, I just forgot, it's 29, so this would be like a 12, 15-year-old car.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a vintage. That's not even.
So in
vintage 25.
In 19, so for frame of reference, right? Imagine it's 1950. What's a 1929 car? It's like a car from 2004 today.
Yeah.
My Impala when I had it 2001 or 2004.
My Cadillac I drove out to Indiana is 1994.
Yeah.
So compared to what this was in 1950.
Yeah. Baby.
Yeah.
So, what can you expect to pay for something like this typically?
Well, I think there's going to be a range. You could, I think, if you went, I would expect a car like this typically to be in the $70,000 to $100,000 range. If you go to an auction, as I said before, an auction is all about who goes, right? And you could conceivably do better. But I think that's if it were a private sale, anywhere from 70 to 100 plus for a car like this. Now, this I would say is an older restoration. It's if you look carefully in a couple of spots, there's some paint imperfections, and you can see it's older work. It's a beautiful car, but this would not be if this went to Pebble Beach, this would not be a 100-point car by any stretch of the imagination.
Sure.
But it's really nice.
Yeah, with your limited experience of driving it, and one of the questions is, have you learned something new now that you get to have it and Google it and kind of look into it? Is there something that surprised you, or you weren't expecting, or anything that got you by surprise that it would have a solution for something that especially since you know about cars, old cars.
Well, it's kind of an interesting question. I haven't driven it enough or owned it long enough
Yeah,
I mean, so far it's pretty
pretty standard.
it's pretty exactly what I expected. The only thing with this particular car that I wasn't expected was the lights don't work. None of the lights on it, not a single one works.
Really?
And that was not disclosed in the auction. But that's the kind of a thing that would not have shown up.
Yeah.
So we'll take care of that. And but that's the nature of the beast, I guess.
Sure.
Whereas, and that's part of the reason why, at least if I go to an auction and I buy something like this, I'm expecting I'm going to pay a little bit less for it than through a private seller. The reason being, if I went to a private seller, I'd take it out, I would drive it, I would check it out, all these things. We don't get to do that at an auction. So I fully expect that an auction is going to be a little bit of a discount. It's going to be a discount to make it worth my while to assume that risk.
Yeah.
So would you buy it again after
yeah.
seeing it?
Absolutely. 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 Yep.
Now would you sell it?
Probably.
Probably.
I mean, the reality is that the thing about cars and deals, they're always out there. There's another one coming around the corner. They're always like that.
Really, really want, and now you can use this as leverage or sweeten the deal and flip it, and
maybe
exchange it for somebody's looking for. Because these are not in particular. I mean, it's a Packard. It's a pretty classic. Everybody knows that name.
There will always be a demand for for the higher end cars like this, and this is truly a higher end car.
Okay. 640 was not a cheap car.
It was not a cheap car back in the day. I mean, this car was probably, I don't know, $4,500. Something was in that range. When a Model A was,
it's about $1 a pound back then.
$500 or $600 for a Model A. So what does that say? You could get 6 or 7 Model A's for one Packard like this.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that really puts it in perspective. A little bit of historical background there.
So today, that would be like if you went to your Hyundai dealer, right? For the price of 6 or 7 base Hyundais. That's what it would be in today's dollars.
Sure. Well, we appreciate you bringing it by, and we'll go for a ride in it, see what it's like.
We'll do that.
Yes.
And see what it does.
And if you still own it in a year or two, maybe we'll do an update and see the things you learn about it.
It would be great to do your whole fleet.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think CJ's going to head out that way. So we're going to get in his garage because you guys need to see this. Because this is ridiculous. I mean,
just to be clear, I don't have a garage. So I'm in New England. I have a barn.
That's right.
In New England, we all have barns.
It is a barn.
It is a barn
for sure.
Indeed.
100%. Maybe you get some better lights by the time I come out.
It
He's
could
been
happen.
working on it, right?
Actually, I do have better lights than I used to.
Well, on the
true.
backside.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, that's where all the good stuff is.
Well,
That's right.
you're getting too much good stuff now. It's not going to all fit.
You're going to need an extra barn.
That's another subject for another video.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And you
Sure.
guys, like and subscribe and come back for more because we're going to do more episodes with more fascinating guests with really, extravagant cars. And so
They don't have to be extravagant.
that's right.
We want to do the whole realm.
Yeah, get the basics from the basics to the, the Packard.
And if there's anything you guys want to see, let us know. If anybody wants to bring something on, send us a message. Love to get you out here. So
That's right.
thanks for watching.
Like, subscribe, tell your friends. See you guys later.
Roomy, spacious.
Oh, man. This ship's much better. I'll take it.
One more key important note is no signal lights in this car, so better know your hand signals.
Signal arms. than the wind noise. This thing is smooth, man. It's awesome.
When it idles down,
Yeah.
I'm looking for oil pressure to make sure it's still running. It just gets so quiet.
Are you ready for your glamour shot?
It's picture day at school.
This is going to be our introduction to our series, Ask the Man Who Knows One, and it's only fitting. We started off with a beautiful pre-war Packard.
Except you screwed it up.
What?
It's not ask the man who knows one. Ask the man who owns one. But suggest you start over.
There we go again. This is why film was so expensive back then.
Yeah.
That's right.